Woe to you, O earth and sea.
It's the Hop Nation
USA Podcast.
It's episode 157 of the Hop Nation USA podcast, and we are back from the little hiatus we took because we thought it was better for you to listen to not beer buffoons, but people who are actually speaking on the current situation of the world. We are jerk-offs who love beer.
Yeah, don't listen to us when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good for you to take a break and actually listen to people who are seeking justice in a shitty world. And we hope you did that, but we are back this week, and we'll give you that little beer escapism as best we can this week. But as always, I'm your host, Steve, and I have my co-host, Adam.
As always.
And we have a special guest host who has been on the show in the past, but now he's joining us from his studio across the world, or 20 minutes away, we're not sure. But Sean from In Poor Taste is with us this week.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
So
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there's at least a bridge or a tunnel between us and Sean, so it is a world away.
Well, we do live in Pittsburgh, so that's a pretty fair.
Yeah,
Mhm.
If there's a bridge or a tunnel, I'm sorry, I can't make it there.
I'm sorry.
So therefore, you can't move more than 10 feet from your house. Because
Right, yeah, I need at least 3 days notice.
I'll say this. It's funny because my wife is from the flattest city in Mexico. And so they name every bridge. So meaning like if it's a 6-foot long bridge over a tiny creek, they name it. And
Oh,
you're like, what? Why would you name this? It's just like there's a creek running under the road. There's not really a bridge. They're like, well, they had to put up some sort of support structure, so it has to have a name, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, oh, how cute this little tiny bridge is. They're all proud of it. The only hill in her town, in her city, is one that goes underneath a highway that they built, a man-made dip. So it's very flat. So it's an alien world to me, but yeah, we have a lot of bridges here. So you're basically, if you count the creek bridges, you really can't even leave your plan probably.
no.
No, which haven't really been able to do since March anyways, so...
Well, that does explain the facial hair, Adam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's also why I'm wearing a hat right now, is because what I got underneath is, woof,
Nice.
it is getting bad. It was getting bad a month ago.
So I haven't seen you in about this long.
Yeah, it's once the quarantine kicked
that's
in,
a joke
and I
for the video viewers, by the way.
Yes. Don't forget that we are on YouTube. Check that out
Yes.
when you can.
And now that Steve has assimilated with his computer,
Mhm.
he can do those sorts of things.
My
Right.
goodness. Wow.
But we are. Is it though?
the floating head in the Troniverse.
It's important for me to be intimidating. I'm the host. I'm the one in charge.
Yeah, you're like a Wizard of Oz, but hops. The Wizard of Hops.
Sure. That it's been brought up in past episodes that this is reminiscent of the Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode,
Very much.
where they had the I think it was the Wizard of the Internet, and it was like
Yes.
WYZZE.
Yeah. It's pronounced wizard. I just got my wife into Aqua Teen. That's a very, for me, it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Timely reference.
Timely. Thank you. God damn, I've had a bad day. The
It's
is
okay.
fried. The brain is fried.
You know what makes a bad day better? Beer.
Yes.
So what are you drinking tonight, Sean? We'll let you go first. You're the guest.
I've got my first beer here is going to be a Founders All Day IPA. I'm showing it to the video viewers there. It is a passable All Day IPA. Most of them I find taste like the memory of an IPA. But this one, as I open it, it's pretty decent. It's got a good hop character to it. Let's see. We got 4.7 ABV on this thing, and I believe we're around 40 IBUs, but I can't. Let me look for it. 42. I was way off.
Nice. Always the answer.
So I like a 70 to 80 IBU personally. I'm a bitter guy, but this one's decent, and it actually tastes more than 42, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's got a good hop characteristic to it.
Yeah, I mean, that one's been around forever. I feel like they've dialed that recipe in by now.
Mhm.
So that's why you don't get that memories of a IPA, that passing hopness to it.
Yeah, it's not just an IPA that they just dumped water into.
Right. So, yeah, right on, though. It's been a while since I had one of those. But, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm not.
I think my favorite session IPA is a... Goodness gracious, I can't remember the name immediately, but it's like something about like a little mistake or something like that. What is it called? Oh, boy, it's a white label with like a rabbit on it. Oh, I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right.
While you think about it, Adam, do you want to share with the audience what you're drinking?
I do, as a matter of fact. And this is a local beer coming to us from 4 Points. This is the Sour Cerveza. You get that.
Ooh, very Mexican.
Yes, they're out of beautiful Charleroi. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily
Northern Mexico.
tunnels. Very north, yes.
Very northern Mexico.
But it's at least 2 interstates, so I can't get down there very often. But it's a sour ale. Actually, I take that back. It's a sour lager, like 4.5% ABV, and they use lime and salt. So it's got a very margarita-esque vibe to it. And it's damn fine.
Sour lager. Like, you're just trying to piss me off, aren't you?
But it's good. It is good.
For the video viewers, I'm trying to find this fucking ale because it's driving me crazy.
I'm sure it's good. I mean, I haven't had bad beer from 4 Points, but...
No. And add this to the list of good ones. I am a fan of this because it's got a good amount of sour to it where you get the jaw tingle, but not enough that it's, undrinkable or overly offensive.
Okay.
It is right in the wheelhouse. I'm a big fan.
Interesting. I would have to try it simply just for the fact that it is a sour lager, and I've never had one of those before. But there's a good chance I also might hate it, but what ifs.
I mean, I've got an extra one in the fridge. We can set something up.
Did you pick that up at Creekside?
I did.
I figured. Creekside has that 4 Points hookup, and I know they're close to you. So
yeah. Creekside has been getting my business a lot more and more lately. If for 2 reasons. One, they've got a pretty decent selection. Number 2, it's a reason for me to leave the house and drive somewhere instead of just going 2 minutes down the road.
Right.
It's kind of become a destination of sorts.
Makes sense.
Something to do.
Yeah.
So you guys are both in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, right?
No.
I'm in the West Hills.
You're in the Westish Hills. It's south. It's southwest.
And I live in the woods.
Aren't you ever by Bridgeville? Not to blow up your entire spot.
No. I used to live in Castle Shannon, but I don't live there anymore. It's been years since I lived there.
Wasn't it Adam's apartment that I came to or
Yes. Yeah. You've been here, but that was not Bridgeville.
Okay.
That's out by Robinson.
Yes.
I could have sworn it was to the south of the city, though. Am I crazy? Huh.
Possibly.
Are you out closer to the airport?
Yeah.
Okay, this is only for people who live in or near Allegheny County, apparently. But yeah, I just moved to we moved to Baldwin a little over a year ago. Not to.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. You're true blue in the South Hills then.
Yeah, we're like legit South Hills. So, this is. I was like, oh well, I'll be closer whenever I need to go drink beers with my buddies, and now I realize I'm probably no closer at all.
I mean, you're still welcome.
In my backyard, so that would have been perfect. Steve. Where'd you end up? If you don't mind telling the listeners, because they're going to stalk you for sure.
Oh, what am I drinking?
No, where'd you end up? Where'd you end up? You said you used to live in Castle Shannon.
Oh yeah, I used to live in Castle Shannon. Then I moved to what the fuck's it called?
Crescent.
Well, yeah. Move the question. It's actually Glenn Willard.
Oh yeah.
That was where. That was where parts of the Silence of the Lambs was filmed.
Huh?
Really? I didn't know that.
Filmed in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs is filmed all over Pittsburgh and a little bit in Ohio.
Really?
But the scene is when Jodie Foster goes back to Buffalo Bill's first victim, and he goes back to her house. Her house was like 2 houses down from my house.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
I didn't know it until I was actually just watching it one day. I was like, wait a minute. What the fuck?
Walk outside.
Yeah.
You walk outside, you're like, wait, pause. Walk outside, like, holy shit. Didn't sleep at all that night.
Yeah, just because it was both the interior and the exterior. Because the exterior is very specific of Glenn Willard is up against the Ohio River on one side, and then there's train tracks running on the other side. And Glenn Willard's enclosed by both of those. You
Who
could
has a bird?
Hmm?
Who has a bird?
I do.
You have a bird?
No, it's just my window's open.
Oh. It's like, Steve, you are making purchases I did not know about.
No, I hate birds. I wouldn't buy
You
it.
can't own a bird, man. It's one of God's creatures.
Oh, now we're getting philosophical here.
But
I stole that joke from somewhere, and I don't know where. Yeah, that's funny as hell, man. Just walk out. You're watching a movie.
Yeah.
You see your neighborhood. That would creep me right out.
Yeah. And then it's like the interior was the same as my house too. So it's just like, oh fuck, that's it's creepy as hell.
That is really creepy because a lot of houses in PA, Pittsburgh especially, just copy, just rubber stamped all the way down the block.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably
I think the closest I've gotten to that is watching Jack Reacher whenever they go into the auto parts store. It's the same auto parts store that I use here at home. And it's like, oh, there's the sheets. Oh, there's the DiPellas. Oh, there's...
You've been in Mario. You've been in Mario's as well, so you know that.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
Anyway,
so what are you drinking, Steve?
Yeah, the beer I'm drinking tonight is from the Other Half Brewing Company. It's called Double Potato Spaghetti Town.
That sounds awful.
Right?
Is that really it? That's the one on the video feed?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yes.
I thought that was fake. That looks fake.
No, it's an actual beer.
What the fuck does that taste like?
It tastes like an IPA because that's all it is. Oh. They literally put it on their Untapped description of, yeah, we don't know why we named it this. It's like we don't know.
They got hammered one night.
Yeah.
That's what they came up with.
I would eat that city.
It's a good Italian city. But yeah, it's brewed with 5 different kinds of hops, 8.4 on the ABV. It's pretty decent. It's got a nice bright character to it. Adam, you wouldn't hate it. You would survive it.
I think I know which direction you're going here.
Yeah.
Sounds like I would not seek it out though.
No, you still wouldn't put this on your list or anything.
Knows Adam doesn't like IPAs, so let's not. I mean, you seek any IPA? I don't think you would. So that's not.
There are a few IPAs that I do enjoy.
You would seek them out, or you would deal with them.
That I would seek out.
Huh? I'm shocked.
It's a very short list, but
yes, less than 10. Very exclusive.
VIP.
That's right.
Yeah. Very India Pale Ale.
Oh, VIPA.
How has nobody come up with that yet?
I don't know. Everybody stop listening. I got a shirt to make.
Or a beer to
patent pending. So where's this brewery out of, Steve? I don't think we covered that.
The Other Half Brewing Company is... This beer was actually gifted to us by Ryan from Fueled by Hops.
Yes, good people.
Yeah. But Other Half is out of Brooklyn, New York.
It's got a nice haze to it, if that's the beer that I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's a very hazy beer. It says there's no information on the IBUs, so I can only assume that means that it's just super dry hopped, Like and you can kind of tell it doesn't have any kind of West Coast bite to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just super tropical, super bright, and they threw 5 different hops in there to give it all kinds of different things going on.
Right on.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
It sounds like a delight, honestly. But I'm a huge IPA fan, so they all sound like a delight to me.
Yeah, it's nice for, I don't know, the kind of warm weather we're having. It's it's not hot, but I could see this being refreshing, even though it's 8.4. But yeah, it'd be refreshing.
This sour cerveza is perfect for a hot day. This thing is right in the wheelhouse for that.
Nice.
That is all.
Okay. I mean, I'll try it eventually.
I don't know if I've ever tried a sour, honestly.
Really?
I don't think I have, quite frankly.
You should do yourself a favor and pick up a couple.
Yeah.
They're worth
I feel
it.
like I would feel the same way about them that you feel about IPAs.
It's possible.
That is possible, yeah. But the same thing with sours as IPAs is there are different levels. You have ones that are kind of tart, which just have a little bit of zip to them, and then you have other ones that are just like straight up Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, no, I would not enjoy that.
But,
I'm definitely much more of a bitter guy. I like a dark chocolate. I like an IPA. A nice coffee flavored stout. But,
same.
And I love. I mean, I can bite right into a good lime. Like I will stick a lime quarter in my mouth and just suck on it. So maybe I would, but I don't know if I want to mix those two worlds. Like I want to spritz some lime on my taco, eat that, and then down it with either a nice lager or like a ice cold lager or a nice session ale, maybe.
My suggestion is if you want to dip your toe into the world of sours is like kind of pay attention to what Grist House is releasing. Because Grist House has put out a lot of sour. I'm not a sour fan like at all, but Grist House has put out a lot of sours that I found like really palatable. And they also put out a lot of dessert sours. So
yeah, if you get into anything like their next to normal series, I think you might.
No, that's Hitchhiker.
Oh, that is Hitchhiker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, still, I mean, that still applies.
Also, check those out. Yeah, check out some Hitchhiker Next to Normal because they're sour coffee ales, and they do work. So
that's an interesting combination.
Yeah, we thought so too. I was very scared and hesitant, but ever since I had it, I was like, "Oh, I can drink more of these."
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot. My buddy is a big sour ale fan, and he does that Untapped app, and he's just like constantly putting up all these crazy beers, and he drinks a lot of sours. So and he and I share a lot of the same beer, proclivities. So I'll definitely give it a try. I don't know if I want to buy a case of it. I'll probably get like a 6er.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I bought a case of beer.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't either. Well, also, to be fair, Adam, anytime we have a case of beer, it's because we brewed it.
Well, that's true, too. Yeah.
So you guys drink a lot of beer. You just drink, like, occasionally, or what's up with that?
So, twofold.
Buy cases?
Twofold.
Or you're extremely rich.
In the before times, when we were able to go outside, a lot of my beer exploration was out at bars, at breweries, things like that. So I didn't really drink at home. But now that I'm stuck at home, it's been a lot of 4-packs, 6-packs, things like that. So it's a lot of.
But so you're going out and buying these things on a frequent basis, or you buy a ton of them at once?
It depends on how the mood hits me. Sometimes it's just a 4-pack as I'm grabbing groceries. Sometimes it's, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. Well, I guess I'll just eat ramen for the rest of the week. And then I grab a bunch.
Shut up. You have money. Lion ass.
You don't know my life. Maybe I want to eat ramen, Steve.
Well, that's very possible because ramen.
Actually, it's
ramen
good.
Can be fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I actually had ramen for lunch.
There's a lot of salt in that shit.
Oh, yes.
It's like 6 days worth of your sodium intake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you just want that.
Salty boy.
Sure. Even my wife. My wife puts salt on her salt.
Ew.
Oof. Too much.
So,
I'm looking for a picture now for to show you guys. The last time I bought a case. Goodness gracious! Go ahead.
Okay.
This is not good for audio.
No, it's not.
You can carry on, but I'm just explaining why I'm looking down at my phone again. For fuck's sake.
So I was going to move on to some of the like a nice news story, because we could use a nice news story right now.
Please.
Yeah, I could use one.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen one in a while.
yeah, I mean, a couple episodes ago we were talking about the All Together collaborative beer that was put together for providing relief for people that were affected by the coronavirus pandemic, and a lot of it was meant to go to people that were out of work. So now there is a new collaborative beer that is being taken on by a lot of breweries and a lot in PA, and it's called the Black is Beautiful beer. And this one is a charity beer meant to provide, the proceeds of these beers are meant to go towards either funding for education about police brutality, or funding for, damn, you bought a lot of
that's got to be a hell of a party.
Yeah,
that was the first pickup for the COVID lockdown.
Nice.
Right on.
Too.
Right
Getting
on.
ahead of it.
So check that out on YouTube. You can see Sean's big haul of a couple cases from Penn and Founders.
Several cases. I didn't show you the liquor that I also bought.
Nice.
But the Black is Beautiful beer is being taken on by breweries across the country, and proceeds are going to police brutality reform funds, as well as funding for people who are get caught up in the protests or anything, or anybody who just can't defend themselves in police cases.
Mm-hmm. That sounds awesome, man.
Yeah.
So since this is similar to the In This Together and the Campfire beers in the past, I assume there's a singular recipe that's coming out. Do we know what style that's going to be?
And this is my favorite part.
I'll just feed that to you, Steve.
Yeah.
You guys did this up before the episode?
No, it's just I know Adam knows at least, what the style of the beer is, because as we know, all weather is stout weather.
That is correct.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Is that racist to say that? I thought it would be a stout.
No, I don't know.
Stouts are black. I mean,
right. But and it's kind of the point of the recipe that I'll get into, is that it's meant to showcase all the shades of malt that you can get. And the recipe includes all the different shades of dark malts that you can procure, including chocolate malt, chocolate rye malt, black patent, roasted barley, 120 crystal. So you're meant to include all the shades, and of course 2-row is the base.
Mm-hmm.
But you're meant to include all the different shades of malt that you can get, because it's celebrating the beauty of a stout. Recipe's pretty big. If you follow it, it should come out to a 10% imperial stout.
holy hell!
Yeah.
What?
That's awesome.
That's the upper limit of what's physically possible.
It's great. For a 5-gallon batch, it is 10 pounds of 2-row by itself.
Holy shit. Plus you have everything on top of it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
I'm a big fan of this beer so far.
Going to dump some whiskey into that to try and
so the beer itself was kind of devised by a brewery out of San Antonio, Texas, called Weathered Souls, and the head brewer is Marcus Baskerville. And so Weathered Souls is one of the few black-owned breweries in the country. But Marcus Baskerville has been the head brewer at San Antonio, and he came up with this idea for doing a collaborative beer to help benefit everybody that's in this, as well as just spread awareness.
Mhm.
Because there's still, I mean, I don't get it, but there are still people who don't understand what Black Lives Matters means. And it's baffling to me.
It might be willful ignorance, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, I'll
just let my pained sigh speak for you.
I think that, I think that's the way to go.
It's just really simple that they matter because the police overwhelmingly like harass and kill black people.
Yeah.
They matter.
I'm just going to leave the case. So I've got 2 Twitter accounts. One of them's my podcast. The other one's my political account. I'm going to keep this to my podcast Twitter account today for you guys.
There you go.
Because this could end in a very long and very angry rant. If
Well,
it sort of seep into the hemp for Prez side of my Twitter.
well, look, there's, that's part of the reason why we took last week off too, because just generally we were all angry.
Yeah.
Well, I
can't
deactivated my Facebook account because I was saying shit that I thought that the more the less, how we say, the more, I'm just gonna say it, the more conservative of my Facebook friends may have tried to throw me under the bus vis-a-vis my job. So they know where I work and they know what I've said, and I deleted a lot of stuff and then just deactivated the account.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? My blood pressure's way too high for this.
Yeah, if you
I gotta go.
Yeah, if people are going to play baby shit games like that, then just
People are
Take the high road.
stupid. You know what? The idea of social media is just such a bad one. I mean, people have said for a long time, what would it be like if we could read each other's thoughts? Turns out fucking terrible.
Turns out bad idea.
Turns out it's real bad.
Yeah. Back to this beer though. This
Yeah.
beer, it's good news. The beer is good news.
Yes, sorry.
As of recording the podcast, there are 540 breweries participating, 43 states and 14 countries.
Holy hell.
Yeah. In PA, we have 18 breweries, a part of that.
I'll actually update that one. As
Okay.
of this afternoon, they are over 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, breweries in PA, they updated
Okay.
their count to 21. And I trust them.
That's fine. Yeah, I was on the actual blackisbeautiful.beer website.
Gotcha.
So you
Okay.
can go to there if you want to figure out how to participate or find out what breweries are participating. Just a couple breweries of note. The most obvious one is the Harris Family Brewery, because that's the only black-owned brewery in PA. But they're going to participate.
That seems like a low number for me.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, there's not that many like across the country.
Yeah.
So,
one would think we need to get some more of those going, huh?
but
We got to get Dave Bracey involved. We got to get him.
he's in.
Oh. Have we ever...
involved, but
we need to introduce you to the beautiful thing that is Fresh Fest.
Yeah.
I know Fresh Fest. I know Dave Bracey, but I'm saying maybe he needs to have a brewery. Is what I'm saying, or he and his friends.
Nah, he's a writer and a comedian. He wants nothing to do with actual brewing. I think he said that.
Except for the end product.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think he said that before as well. But yeah, other notable ones: 11th Hour, Voodoo, Hop Farm, Butler Brew Works, Union Brothers, which is opening up soonish in Harmony, East End. Those are all on our side of the country. That is
State.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I had an East End beer, but I need to put that back on my menu.
Check them out.
Yeah,
They do good stuff.
yeah. I've been a fan for a long time. I used to go down to the brewery before they moved it, and do the growler hour, and do the taste tests and everything, and you'd leave with a good buzz of free beer and a couple of growlers. It was fantastic.
Life was good.
I love that place. Yeah, that was probably 10 years ago.
Now I want everything to open back up again so I can go visit again.
Old people be damned.
That's right.
Well, I mean, if you're on Facebook, yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I'll
That's
start
why on our podcast we have purposefully just devolved into a completely alternate universe where none of this is happening. and we have been abducted and basically placed underneath the Century 3 Mall and tortured for a while. So our current situation in the podcast universe is bad, but it's better than what's going on outside.
Well, obviously, Century 3 is still open and it's got business.
Right.
No. It's the same. I mean, Century 3 is in the same condition.
Oh,
In this alternate universe.
but is the Phantom's attic still open or?
No, absolutely not. No, nothing. Not even the JCPenney.
Nah, nerds.
The last fucking JCPenney.
Nerds.
Store clinging tenaciously to the Century 3 Mall like a wart on the side of a foot.
Oh man! All right.
Just jumping back quickly though. Just a little small news tidbit. We've mentioned Dave Bracey and Fresh Fest already, but Fresh Fest is the next beer festival that's gone digital.
That seems less than
Ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Obviously the language center of my brain has shut down. So I can't think of like tiny with what do you call it? Blue. Yeah.
Blue.
It's like purple but less red.
But they're going digital.
Work, though? They're just gonna
Well, I'll tell you.
type in and just drink beers at each other.
So they're in the process of developing an app, and then through that app you'll be able to get access to a whole bunch of content. There's no beer. I don't think there's no solid plan in place yet. Really,
is there a liquid plan? That's a beer joke.
What they are looking to do is they're going to have podcasts, obviously, because that's Drinking Partners podcast. They're going to try to do cooking and brewing demonstrations, and I think they're going to try to do as many like interviews and provide as much content as possible. They're going to have digital tickets that allow you access to all this content, and those go on sale June 15th. So if you're listening to this,
I feel like a good idea for them would be to include to have like full price tickets, just like you're going to the beer fest, but then like ship out cases of like all the different beers that would have been at the fest, maybe even as like ponies, and then you could actually do a tasting.
Well, we talked about that before about the Untapped beer festival is doing that.
Yeah.
I think just because this Fresh Fest is supposed to occur in August and we're so far out, most of those breweries haven't even produced that beer yet.
Sure.
That you're talking about. So yeah, they're trying to find other ways. What you can get out of this though is if you already bought your ticket for Fresh Fest, is in the next 3 years, you can redeem that ticket to go to any of the next 3 Fresh Fests.
Which is fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So that's kind of the way they're.
Idea. That's like the idea of going into your favorite restaurants and buying a couple of like gift cards later, just to keep them open.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of the way they set it up. And then also, if you bought tickets to Fresh Fest, you're also going to get that digital content that they're going to do this year. So you don't have to buy the $10 digital pack. You just get
that's
it.
Cool though. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm definitely going to have to, put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah, I mean, I've already been to the first 2, so I'll figure out a way to do the digital one as well.
The third, yeah.
That's the bummer about marrying a woman who doesn't drink beer. Trying to get her to go to a beer festival is kind of a non-starter.
Well, now you can, and maybe you can just get her to sit down and watch a cooking demo with you.
Yeah, for sure. She loves to cook, so that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I have no idea. I mean, they had like so many like bakers and things, bakers and cooks who showed up last year.
Oh, the food there was fantastic.
Right, and like all of those bakers, a lot of the bakers collabed with brewers, so you get like sick pastry beers. So yeah, so I'm sure that a lot of that will occur again this year.
Yep.
Cake beer.
Yeah, there was cupcake beers. Some I think it was Bash that made a red velvet cupcake beer.
Oh, that was something.
So fucking good.
Red Velvet is a lie. Don't even get me started.
It was a
wants to
red
be
beer,
chocolate, and there's no friggin' chocolate in it.
but it was a red beer and it was chocolatey and it was
sugar.
great.
It was delicious.
It's awesome.
As long as there's an actual chocolate flavor, because Red Velvet is just sugar flavored sugar. Ugh, it makes me so angry. It looks like chocolate, and then it's not.
Well, Sean, I'm gonna have to ask
a
you.
vanilla flavor.
Sean, I'm gonna have to ask you to keep that anger and channel it, because we're gonna end the segment, and then coming up,
An angry segment?
Yes.
Yes. An angry segment.
Next segment will be episode 8 of Brews Brothers. So keep your anger bottled up, because you can unleash it all you want on the next segment.
Fair enough.
So we'll be right back with segment 2 and finally ending this shit show that was season 1 of Brews Brothers. Welcome back to episode 157 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. It's segment 2, and that means we're back with more beer.
And it's time to step into the Angry Dome.
Well, Angry Dome is second. We'll get there. We'll get to the Angry Dome. You got to tease the Angry Dome. We'll get there.
They know what's coming.
Yeah.
Is it the sexy dome or the angry dome?
Angry Dome.
Why not both?
Angry Dome.
That can be an interesting evening.
Who would like to go first, though, with their beer?
I'll go first.
Did you get a new one, Adam?
I have one on deck. I'm still sipping on this sour cerveza, but I got one ready to go. It's another one from the You Are Here series by East End, appropriately enough. This is their Northview Heights. It is a barrel-aged stock ale, which is an old-timey British beer style. It's 9%.
Jesus Christ, you guys!
So that's going to be a fun one. Hey, I don't have a commute tomorrow.
4s and 6-packs. I'm getting like 75 beers, but they're all 4%.
Right.
You guys are drinking 6 because they're all 75%.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like to get bloated.
You take shots of beer.
Like to get there quick.
That's right.
With that in mind, I will show you what I'm drinking. And I've picked up the Equilibrium Energy Equals.
Show us Wizard. Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh.
Fancy. I like the fading effect.
Yeah.
I was more impressed by the video.
I know, it's nice.
than anything.
I keep it nice.
Classy.
Not so nice that I'll buy the damn program to get the watermark off, but
I'm pretty sure that's a Beastie Boys lyric.
Yeah.
Keep it nice.
Keep it nice. But yes, Energy Equals by Equilibrium. It is the double IPA version of their MC Squared. Yeah, get it?
Oh, I see what they did there.
Else. Which MC Squared is the bigger version of Photon, which is, I guess, their session IPA. So, yeah.
A lot of science terms.
Right.
I've noticed.
Yeah. But Energy Equals, it's a double IPA, 8% ABV. And it's all dry hopped. So it's there's no IBUs listed for it.
Okay, so I'm not going to pretend I know what the fuck you're talking about. What do you mean that you can't have IBUs if it's dry hopped? And also, for the listener, tell them what that means to dry hop a beer.
So when you dry hop a beer, that means you add your hops after the beer is fermented, or it could be while it's fermenting. But basically, it doesn't go into the boil, which is the general way that IPAs were produced all the way up until probably 2010, I would say. Most West Coast IPAs are hops in the boil. Dry hopping is throwing it in afterwards, and what that does is it doesn't come out correctly on the regular IBU scale, so it's hard to actually determine the bitterness of a beer from that. And that's why most breweries forego listing IBU information when they dry hop their beers, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because if you
goddamned.
Yeah, if you go from the IBU scale, it doesn't translate. So yeah.
It's the Wild West. That's all it
I
is.
got the vapors. I don't know what I'm doing. That's interesting. I did not know that. Thank you. But the name is way off. I mean, you're putting it into liquids. Those hops are very wet. They're not dry at all. And the fact that you don't boil them, also still not dry.
So you want me to fuck you up more and tell you what wet hopping is?
Oh, Christ. It's different than just the opposite?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
So wet
I'm going
hopping.
to pretend like I've always known this next time I go to the bar. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. This is great trivia for you. So
That's what I've done with all the things I've learned. Pretend like, are you serious? You weren't born knowing this? That's why people think I'm smart.
Yeah. Wet hopping though is basically using hops that are as fresh as you can get right off the vine. So
it's like wet. It's like beasters.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar?
No,
0%.
but I'll just agree. It's like
Okay.
Smile and nod.
It's like 1990s beasters. They're always so wet. Like I'm pretty sure people would like spritz water into the bag to weigh them down, and you get them, and they were so wet you couldn't even smoke them. They just turned into a moldering mass in the bottom of a pipe. We're talking about tobacco, folks.
Ah.
Wacko tobacco.
Talk about jazz cigarettes.
That's right.
The devil's lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
Which this podcast will eventually turn into talking about that all the time once the law gets passed.
I have to believe that hops and pot are related. The taste of the two are.
They actually are.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Well, I kind of knew that already, but I was just saying it as though I had thought of it myself. Thanks a lot, guys. But I know the
Didn't mean to blow up your spot, Mr. Science.
Yeah, right. But it's just incredible to me, they just married so well. The fact that they were making beer out of hops for so long, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, like you could make beer out of weed too. It's like kind of cool. Could get doubly fucked up.
Yes.
Not that I've ever done that.
It's
in the episode between.
It's one of those things where, like, a couple years ago, when I was getting into home brewing early on, I thought of a way to actually impart THC onto a home brew. And then I went onto like forums in Colorado where it was legal and people had already been doing it. So
you were behind the times.
Yeah, I felt good because I came up with it on my own and I was right. But
yeah, that's fucking fantastic. I mean, honestly, dude, I think that's fantastic. Like, when you invent the right way to do things, that's
right.
When you know you're fucking super intelligent. Like, it's the best feeling.
Yeah, I did it right, but then just people had already been doing it because obviously Colorado is streets ahead as far as beer.
Community reference. Love it.
But yeah, they're streets ahead as far as beer and pot go. So yeah, but
yeah, for
it
sure.
felt good.
That's why I hate reading instructions. Like I just want to figure it out myself. Or like video games. Like I never want to read like the instructions to the video game. I don't want to see the tutorial. Just fire me into it. I'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Strap me down.
I play a lot of Kerbal Space Program. Let's put.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that's a complex one to not watch any videos that explain to you how orbital mechanics work.
Right.
And let's just say I did not figure that one out on my own. Let's just say I didn't figure it out. I'm like trying to go to the moon like this. Straight up. Go. Amen. Shoot. Faster this time. That's not how you do it, it turns out. I would have not made it to NASA. Or I would have made it to NASA and the astronauts would have not made it to the moon.
Right. And then you have to leave NASA.
Up, right? And you go up like a million miles, and then you come straight the fuck on back down, it turns out. And then you hit the ground at an extremely high velocity.
Just jump
That's
up.
not the way to do it. Turns out. The cow jumped over the moon, but first he had to get into orbit. And in order to do that, he jumped sideways, guys. You got to think about that. The cow jumped sideways at over 25,000 miles per hour. I won't bother you with the science and the facts.
Well, yeah, he jumped to the left, and then there was a step to the right.
Oh God.
At about 25,000 miles per hour.
That's not how you reach orbit. That's a time warp. Anyway, Sean, what are you drinking?
You could technically time warp and get into orbit. Now, let me get into this. So there's a warp drive, which it's called oh God, I've forgotten the name now. It's a Mexican scientist figured it out, Altieri or something like that. So the guy, you could wrap a bubble around the spaceship that bends space-time. In the front, it compresses it, and in the back, it expands it. And so it's like riding, and it may be the opposite of that, so don't quote me. But it's like riding a wave in, like on a surfboard, and you can go faster than the speed of light, but you don't get the time dilation. It's just fucking perfect. But you only need, at this point in the science, you only need about a Jupiter's worth of energy to do that. So let's just talk about something else.
No, I kind of like this avoidance of talking about Brews Brothers.
Stop.
Yeah, oh, that's true too.
Stop avoiding.
All right, let's dive straight the fuck on into it.
Well, before we do that, I'm getting into my beer.
That's
All right,
fine. Get into your beer.
Oh, finally.
While you get into your beer, I'm gonna ask Sean.
I'm halfway through my new one.
What's your new one? Quickly.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I believe I brought this on the podcast last time. This is just the Penn Brewery IPA.
Yeah.
This is my go-to.
Yes.
It's got a nice floral flavor. Bit of citrus, not much, but it's lighter than you'd expect for an 80 IBU, I believe it is. Let me see.
Yeah, it's
not dry hopped. So, 70 IBUs. I was way off. And it's got a delightful picture of Pittsburgh there on the label, which I like. For the people on YouTube. By the way, reminder, go to YouTube and watch the video. You
For sure.
Please and thank you.
Thumbs up. Subscribe, and then click the ding the little bell. Ding the bell. Ding the bell.
You are the first person to say ding the bell on this show.
so that you know when there's a new one, because you want to watch it again. And you can get refreshments while your buddies are getting refreshments, and it'll be like you have friends.
It's a beautiful thing.
It'll be the first time for you.
It works.
But other than that, you're going to have fun. You're going to drink a lot of beers. You're going to learn a lot, like I did today, about dry and wet hopping and medium wet hopping and mud hopping.
Mud hopping is only done in Mississippi.
Theater hopping.
And Yankee Lake.
I've learned a lot of these things.
So, Sean, let's get into your background. Did you watch episode 8?
I am a convicted felon, yes. What? I didn't fill out the questionnaire you guys gave me, but I know you did the background check. No, wait. What?
And we still let you on.
Yeah, right?
Did you watch episode 8 of Brews Brothers?
Only because my record was not as bad as your guys. I did not watch it, but I did listen to it while I was speed mowing my lawn this evening.
Okay.
So it turns out the show could make a medium bad podcast.
Wow.
I mean, I'll agree with that, but that's just because podcasting in general is shit.
Yeah, that's true. Especially ours. But the point being that it turned out I didn't need any of the visuals. You know, I got the whole entire plot.
Mm-hmm.
The German guy's voice, I'm very good at recognizing voices, and my wife is annoyed by this because every time we're watching King of the Hill or whatever it is, and it's like, that is this person, or like we're watching Bob's Burgers, and it's like, oh, it's Paul F. Tompkins, and like, oh, this guy's from this podcast, and blah blah blah. So the one guy I immediately recognized from the Birthday Boys, the heavier set guy. I don't know his actual name, but because I never bothered to learn the names of the guys of the Birthday Boys, but that's a comedy troupe. So he was pretty funny, and there's a German dude that is also has been on podcasts, and I fucking cannot remember what the fuck podcast he was on that I listened to. Might be The Bugle. I don't fucking know.
Hard to say.
Until told otherwise, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, it was either The Bugle or on the other side of the world of podcasting, it was Comedy Bang Bang. But I can't quite place it. It's somewhere in there. But I recognize his voice like instantaneously. The acting was bad. It was like an IT crowd where they the stakes were low and the acting was low.
That's a very good description. Holy crap.
IT crowd. Not IT crowd. I wanted to say Silicon Valley, but it also works. So IT crowd is way better than that show.
Well, but the problem is IT crowd was funny.
Yeah, that's
the IT crowd was funny.
I meant to say Silicon Valley because it had the whole Not to spoil the entire plot already, but the whole like, oh, we're the underdogs, and then the big corporation, and then we get fucked over, and then the thing happens, and it was like the plot points reminded me of a Silicon Valley episode.
Yeah,
but it felt
definitely.
And honestly, I started listening to it thinking that this was one of those like mockumentary style, or like not so much mockumentary, but like a reality show. I thought it was going to be like, and the corny jokes and the bad delivery of the corny jokes and the attempt to slam 15 jokes into 1 second without a breath in between, just real bad timing. I just felt, and I didn't know that it was a scripted show until like probably 5 minutes in. And then I was like, wait, this is a television show and not a reality show.
So you are not the first person to say that they expected it to be kind of a behind the scenes kind of documentary style show. And we're kind of shocked to find that it was more of a sitcom style.
Yeah. What was that Dogfish Head show? That was the one that I was thinking of whenever I heard of it. And I was like, you guys are like, watch this episode. And I'm like, okay, here comes this, Dogfish Head background show. Did you ever watch that show with the Dogfish Head Brewery guy?
Yeah. Sam Calzone has gone out and done a show. And then Brewdog also had a similar show where they just kind of went around different places and doing weird drinking things.
Yeah, sure.
But,
the guy that owns Dogfish Head is a super douche. I just have to say that. I love the beer. I love the 60-minute beer, but he's just such a dick bag.
I don't hate him, but like you can just kind of tell that like there's an obnoxiousness to him. But yeah,
well, they go out and sue every single small brewery that has a name close to the name of a shark.
Right?
It's just fucking stupid. Like a Big Dog Brewing Company, they'd be like, "You must cease and desist because people are going to get confused." Like, get the fuck out of here! Why are you such a corporate dickbag?
Big Dog Whale. No, can't have that.
Little Fish Brewing Company. Like, that sounds too much like a shark. Christ. Get over yourself. And then he's like, I'm all zen. I'm like Buddhist and stuff. I was walking on the street and I saw Dogfish and like Head as the name of the roads, or whatever the fuck it was, like a dog and fish head, or whatever the fuck the name of the roads were on the fucking sign. And that's how he named his brewery. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. You're just not cool. You're not a good guy. You're not a good human being. But I love the shape of the bottles. I'll say that. I'm just going to end on a good note. I love the shape.
They're good bottles.
Very sexy. So speaking of television shows that we watched, what did you guys think?
So I want to jump back for a second to, you mentioned that you recognize the voice of one of the guys from the Birthday Boys, which is something I've never heard of. But I Googled it while you're talking, and like, you're right on.
They had a one season, I believe, maybe two, probably one on Comedy Central, and they were known for something. They go on Comedy Bang Bang quite a bit. So I know voices because I listen to podcasts, and because like that's the first thing, I associate with people. Like I don't know people's names, but I'll know their fucking voices like that.
Well,
and it's crazy.
To help Adam along, because he's still in the dark.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to get to.
That's par for the course, though.
Right. But I'm trying to get you there is he recognized the voice of one of the founders, the white founder.
Ah, okay. All right. I had a hunch that's who he was referring to, was one of the founders.
Yeah. The white founder is who he recognized.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It's also
and
apparently part of this thing called the Birthday Boys.
I don't know his name. I don't know any of the Birthday Boys names.
It was Mike Mitchell.
Mike Mitchell. Okay.
The founders are one of the few bright spots of this show.
Yeah. Those two guys were entertaining.
Jason Mantzoukas on that show or not?
You did not.
Okay.
You absolutely did not.
I heard a voice that sounded vaguely for a moment like him. And I was like, I can't.
You absolutely did not hear anybody of
Mantzoukas adjacent.
You did not hear anybody of any note on that show.
Yeah. Sure.
However, what you might be confusing with Jason Mantzoukas is Artie, the strongest man in the world.
Wait, stop! Don't. I know his name. Fuck. Give me a moment.
You are on the clock.
God, it's he also voices Khan in King of the Hill. Oh, I know this. I actually do know this, and it's in my brain, but it can't come forward to the front part of my brain where you can have thoughts and feelings. That part, the part that matters.
The part where I can enunciate.
I can't tell you things with the back part of my brain. It's in there. It's fucking dies way back there, that motherfucker. Toby Huss. Got it.
Yep, you did get it.
Got it in one.
Boom.
You did get it.
God, that was so quick. That was so fast. I'm so fast with that. I'm so quick-witted.
But yeah, no, he was he was one of the interviewees during that episode, and he had appeared in the first episode as a homeless man.
Okay.
Yeah, as the homeless man shitting outside the dumpster. He returns in this episode as someone interviewing for a new position in the brewery, and they set up, and this is one of the worst things about this show, is that
there are plenty.
There are plenty, but they set up this instance of they're having a back and forth between Wilhelm and the homeless guy. They don't even give him a name, I don't think, yet.
Homeless guy X.
Yeah, homeless guy. But they set up this back and forth of like, oh, they're going to be working together and he's going to see you eventually. And then later on in the show, Wilhelm becomes homeless. And they do nothing with that. They don't follow up with that.
Oh my God. Well, everyone knows being homeless is fucking hilarious. So that's cool.
But it's just like, it's just good writing to follow through because that character is homeless. And
Fluleborg, I did recognize. I just had to look that up. And just
okay. Yeah, that is Truffle.
Fluleborg, I did recognize his voice, and that is who it is.
That is Truffle that you recognized.
I got to keep thinking of what fucking podcast that was because it's worth a listen. But go on.
I mean, he's been on Conan O'Brien. He's been on a bunch of different things. He hasn't landed. I think this is like his first regular role that he's landed. Because everything else is just guest stars and pop-ups.
His voice is hilarious because it sounds like a cartoon German. He sounds like someone doing a German accent that's not from Germany.
Oh, absolutely.
Except he is, and that's why it's funny.
Yeah, I know, but like now I'm starting to question these German accents I thought were bad impersonations because spot the fuck on.
Yeah.
He's doing an impersonation of an American doing an impersonation of a German, it feels like.
He might be a master actor.
Yes. Probably. That would be it. He use the exact same voice everywhere he goes.
So, this episode, it just sucks because it's boring. Not much happens, and it commits one of the worst sins.
Did I watch the wrong episode?
No, they're all boring. 8? Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it's the last episode. Yeah. It sucks.
Okay, let me. I just want to contradict you because
this
episode had more turns in it per second. It was just like they were trying to slam every plot point ever contrived plot point into one episode.
And that's what made it boring. Because
it was like the excitement of popcorn popping, right?
Because they kept throwing these plot points, but all these plot points were just written out. They committed the worst sin of tell, don't show. They didn't show us anything. It's just they told us.
It was exposition. And exposition and it was just, and that's why I said it would have made an okay podcast because I was listening to it and knew everything that happened in the episode.
Right. There was no nuance.
Just explained it.
You were fine. You got it.
I just imagined them all sitting around different high top, bar tables on
stools. And that was most of the show.
Mm-hmm. Like I just imagined like this scene is in a different corner of the same bar. They're just like, hey, I'm not gonna. Are we gonna spoil plot points here? Is this okay?
Oh yeah,
we don't care.
Go right ahead. Go for it.
Yeah, good. Okay, so he's like, they offered me a ton of money for the brewery, this big corporation, but like, I don't want to sell it out, dude. Like, we love like brewing, like that's what we're about. Like we do it. And then it was like, oh, but you can't have your brother be in the oh man, I won't brew without my brother, bro. And then it was like, oh, actually, dude, I just told them that so that you would be a dick and then be like, kick him out, fuck him, I want the money. And then you fucked us by me fucking you, by you fucking me. And it was like, okay, like what is happening right now? And then all of a sudden the girl comes back and she's like, actually, you guys, I took the money you gave me for this sale and I want to reinvest it in another bread company. I was that.
This was the most perfect, succinct wrap up of an episode that we've ever had.
That was way better than the episode itself.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is my new podcast. Sean summarizes Brew Brothers. It should have been the Brews Brothers, like the Blues Brothers. Come on, you had it. It was on the tee. You just had to swing the club, you cunt. I say that in the British way. That's not offensive.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it's fine.
And
Got a little overwhelmed here. I've had a frustrating day. I'm going to take it out on
Brews Brothers, please.
The Brews Brothers.
Yeah,
they deserve it.
It's Brew Brothers, right? It's not even Brews.
No, it's Brews. It's Brews.
Oh, okay.
It's Brews. We know it's Brews
and
Brothers.
I take back my exasperated rant.
Yeah.
On the name.
We know it's Brews Brothers because it takes off the there's a number of breweries that are named Brews Brothers, and there's also the bottle shop in the South Hills that's called Brews Brothers.
There's also the SNL sketch or sketch or skit. I do that all the time. SNL sketch. The Blues Brothers, right? That's from SNL, and then they made a movie out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's where that comes from. All of that has to originate from there, correct? And I made I wish I had it on me, but I don't. A picture that I drew in college of some blueberries playing like some jazzy bluesy stuff. It was called Bluesberries. And that's a complete non sequitur, but great picture, great drawing.
It's still better than talking about this show.
Yeah, it's up in my in the crawl space, and I can get that down, and I can fucking scan that bad boy for you, and you can use that as your show icon on iTunes, and I do expect you to.
So, can we talk about the tomfoolery that was the brewery just being bought out? Taken over.
Is a physical brewery not available anymore?
This is an example of bad writing. So they had a goal that they wanted to get to, and that goal was.
Is this a picture of the dudes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't seen them before. That's the game. I hadn't seen the game. I'd missed the one joke that was a visual joke.
Well, there you go.
Funny. Gotta tell you, not funny. I'm not.
I wouldn't say you're missing it, Bob.
Yeah, and that game.
My name is Sean.
No. Damn it.
That game does exist, and that's a real thing, and they brought that in from beer culture. That's fair game on that one.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? What's beer culture? What do you mean by that? Just the idea of beer culture?
That game does come from Europe. The balancing act that they do with that.
What's this picture? This is also a picture in the show.
Yeah, it's just a visual element.
Jorgaborg.
Fluidaborg. But yeah, no, it's bad writing because they had their end goal of the heroes, quote, have to lose the brewery. And so they just did all that behind the scenes work that, again, show don't tell, but they do all that behind the scenes work to take the brewery away. Because
they should have lost it
because reasons.
They should have just been stupid enough to bet their brewery on a game of swingy drink and lost it because they spilled too much beer in their eyeballs.
That would have been way better.
Yeah, and again,
way better.
You would have seen it happen.
Top of the fucking head. I'm not even a writer. I mean, you would know this if you listen to our podcast. We have written stuff. It is bad.
You would have seen it happen. You would have had it already set up for you. Yeah, there's a lot going on that could have happened, but no, they had all this weird backdoor deals that you already summarized that you don't see happen because they have to happen so they lose the brewery.
Yeah, then they tell them about them later, and it's just a fucking it's just explanations of things that happened. Like,
yes,
it could fully just have been a podcast, and a bad one again.
and it was.
I
Yeah,
have to stress that the audio quality would have been better than most podcasts. I'll say that.
that's true. That's true.
That's what I'll give them.
Yeah, because it would have had like the background effects of like the beer fest and the brewery, and yeah, you would have heard sound effects. So that's that's high production value. But yeah,
I'm just looking again at the people. Flew the Borg is the only person I know of, and only because maybe it was because he was on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It's honestly what I keep hitting my fucking glasses off the microphone. I'm sorry about that. I should hold my.
He might have been in line that he was definitely on Conan, but yeah, that Fluleberg, Toby Huss. I guess the one founder that you pointed out, he was also on Netflix's Love, so he's been a background kind of tertiary actor in things, but yeah, there's no real stars in this. We've gone through that a whole bunch.
But not having any stars is not necessarily a problem in and of itself.
Yes, it is, because obviously these people don't know how to act.
Oh no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
They need to have good actors.
Yeah,
But they don't need to have star power through and through, I don't think.
no, you can build a brand off not star power.
Yeah.
But
I mean, look at It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Nobody knew anybody in that show.
yeah,
They did Slam Jam in. Help me out here.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, thank you. Easy word again. My the language center of my brain is already on vacation. But yeah, Danny DeVito, he's great, but he's not like a main character. I mean, he's like a secondary character, not tertiary, but like he's in the mix,
Right.
But the main characters you've never heard or seen these heard. That's a word.
No.
You've never heard of or seen these people before, but they're fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're like, I want more of that. Same thing for me with IT Crowd. Same thing for me. I mean, most of the actors on The Office, other than Steve Carell. And
that's
there's so many like shows where it's like the show makes the actors. I mean, look at Scrubs. Scrubs is fantastic. They didn't have to slam jam in some fucking name, but this, I mean, they had a chance. But they need to take a breath and maybe like attempt to show, like you said, Steve, just fucking show the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just open a book and read it to me.
Right.
What are you doing? It's called an audiobook, and they're better than this.
They don't have to turn on a camera for it.
It's cheaper that way.
Yeah, it's so much cheaper.
You save money. Yeah. Well, I get we're coming to the end, and
honestly, the funny thing too, guys, I just want to let you know, you told me to watch this, but you did not like tell me what to expect or anything like that.
No.
And I'm going to tell you this: I haven't listened to zero of your episodes lately because I have been waffling between listening to hard news and trying not to cry in the fetal position, and like shows that just make me feel good inside, like Fake Doctors, Real Friends with Zach Braff and Donald Faison, who are the stars of Scrubs, which I brought up earlier, and it's because I've been rewatching it, and it's fucking one of the best shows ever goddamn created.
It is really good.
Laugh and then cry in the same fucking episode, sometimes several times. So, like, I love this fucking show. I love the podcast. I mean, JD and Turk, that's basically just fucking Zach Braff and Donald Faison. They're the same people.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just as good of friends. They were fast friends from the beginning. So when you hear them talking and goofing with each other, it just feels like you're watching Scrubs again. So I've just been going between like candy podcasts and fucking like roughage made out of like dandelion greens and like fucking beets and like fucking I don't know what else, like fucking fancy ass vegetables that taste like shit. Collard greens. That's not fancy, but you have to really cook those.
We'll go with rutabaga. Why not?
Yeah, rutabaga, sure. Fucking so it's I'm going between like high anxiety news programming to like, okay, now I need to not die from
total escapism.
Right. So I've been remiss. I mean, if you looked at my podcast list, I've got over 500 episodes now because all the indie podcasts I usually listen to, I'm just kind of like, I can't right now. I either gotta like binge on death or like just survive on the most like candy flavored podcasts I can find that are like, just give me the serotonin injection into my brain. I just want to like just link it up to the stick a needle in my arm. Do it.
So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this. We're done, Adam. We're done.
Thank you. Let's move on to different and better shows that I know are available on streaming services.
Yeah, I don't think we'll move on the port in PA though, because
I'm gonna do that on my own.
Yeah, we can watch it on our own.
I thought you meant better shows than this podcast, and I was gonna say, hey, that's our podcast. That's our segment. Podcast you should have been listening to instead.
No.
This podcast is one of our segments.
No, we wouldn't bite off you like that. No, we're talking TV.
You can. It's fine.
There's
much like the main characters in the show, we didn't actually file the patent applications.
I
did listen. I listened to it. I didn't watch it. Thank God.
I'm just glad you were doing something else, so it wasn't a complete waste of time like what we've been doing.
I was jogging while a machine poorly chopped the grass in my backyard because the tree in my backyard has some gnarly roots. Mm-hmm. I'm doing hand motions for the people watching on YouTube so they have something to see. And I fucking slammed those goddamn roots so often, and I finally flipped over my lawnmower with a feeling in the pit of my stomach like I ate an entire grapefruit without peeling it or chewing it, and there it was, my fucking Jack. You're not on the podcast. That's my cat. Anyway, he likes to talk. So I'm like,
not the first cat we've had on.
Yeah. So
it's like third cat, I think.
At least, yeah.
Let's just say the blades on this lawnmower are chewed up. Let's just say that. And I was jogging through the job, and it doesn't look great out there. I'm looking at it now, not good. A lot of lines, those lines between where you should have taken your time and maybe gone back over it. And I think my neighbor noticed I mowed the lawn because he's out there now mowing his lawn, and it is almost dark out. And my dude is like obsessed with his lawn. He bags his grass, so that means that he has to then go pile it up. And then that also means he has to then fertilize his lawn, which he does. And he, irrigates it, and he's I don't know what the fuck else. He does a billion things to it. And I got to tell you guys, it's maybe one shade greener than my grass. I just fuck off to my backyard. I just mow it every once in a while. Way later than it should be mown. Mown? That's not a word. Mown?
Mowed?
Mown. It's like shown. It has been shown. It has been mown. You know what? I'm saying it here on this podcast.
I'll allow it. Lock it in.
Mown. So I have not mown my lawn in at least 10 days. And I'm sure it was getting to him. And I never rake leaves. I don't do anything about the dandelions. And he is fucking probably freaking out because my dandelions are seeding his lawn.
You're the bad neighbor.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to there was a little lawn mow talk there.
That's all right.
Tune into my new podcast, Lawn Mow Talk. Tune into my new podcast, Moan, brought to you by Moan. For some reason,
and Husqvarna.
It's a sync company. It's the name. It was the name thing.
Mowing.
Yeah, mowing. Hey, you guys ever tune into the podcast, man?
Did you hear their discounts on mowing sinks?
They got their prices down around like 15%. Anyway, sorry, I've completely derailed your podcast. I apologize, and I will understand if you never invite me back.
One, not the first time you've done it. Two,
this episode.
Two, not the first guest who's done it either. So, yeah, but it's all just better than talking about this dumbass show. We will say, Adam, you're saying we're going to watch Port in PA.
Ooh, yes.
And we probably won't do podcast show on that.
No.
Because Jason Zircone's already doing it. So.
Oh, all right. So he already capitalized on that one.
Yes, he already jumped in. So.
Are we trying to say that you can't have two podcasts with the same subject? Because that's news to every true crime podcast ever, which is 90% of podcasts.
We have some mild integrity to not bite off somebody who's already been doing it.
It doesn't show very often, but once in a while. I'm good with not talking about this show anymore. Honestly, the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes of the last show, it was just, all right, let's just get this over with.
Yeah. I
don't care anymore.
It honestly felt like they were rushing because I was also rushing.
Right.
It's just like, wrap it up. All right.
Let's go. Don't care anymore.
I know where this is going. She's going to come back, save the day because she has money and nobody else does. So, yeah, let's go. We know what happens.
It was an entire season in one episode.
Yeah.
It was sitting around the writer's room desk, coming up with the idea for the episode, for the season, and they just recorded themselves and then just slammed it into an episode. That's what it felt like to me. Mm-hmm. So rushed.
Yeah, it was both rushed, but also there was a whole bunch of other shit that just happened. Like Truffle in the break room or whatever.
Is Truffle a character, or did I miss it?
Yeah, Truffle's the character. That's Flula Borg's character. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he was just in a break room, shoving dick-shaped bottles in his ass and mouth.
Okay, so I missed that part.
Yeah, and it's just
it was a visual gag.
It was a visual, yeah, and it's just it didn't make any sense why he was doing it, and just
If you want to make
fill for time.
Yeah, if you want to make yourself feel worse, watch the first 7 episodes and realize that it's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking too. It's the last episode. They should have like their characters figured out. They should have like their voices. They should not be rushing things to try and get plot points out. They should just kind of be comfortable in their scenario.
Here we are.
And here we are. Just a lot of there was a lot of anxiety. It felt like there was so much anxiety in the episode. Like, all right, but say this too now. All right, quick. Oh, but what about this joke? Hey, guys, no bad jokes. We're cutting no jokes. If you say a joke, it's in the episode.
Oh shit, this is due today? Yeah.
Well,
that was the writer's room.
Well, we fully invite you, Sean, to go back and watch the first 7 episodes, and you will find that is every other episode as well. No jokes get cut. Everything stays in. Everything is delivered rushed and without time to breathe, or and just generally unfunny.
Okay.
So we invite you to do that.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the invitation. I'm going to go ahead and let me take a look here and just check my notes and see what my schedule looks like. And I will go ahead and reject that invitation. I do appreciate the very polite way in which you extended it. Thank you.
Well, my previous email.
I wanted to extend it to you because we will invite you back. Next week will be our great big wrap-up show of the entire season, and it will be some sort of trivia game show where we bring back all of our guest hosts from the past 8 episodes to come and compete for nothing but pride in our Brews Brothers Trivia Quests for Awesomeness working title.
You know what? I'm willing to put up an anchor steam for that.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
I'll put up an anchor steam for that. That'll be the grand prize.
But yeah, well, you're invited back to do that and participate if you want.
Sounds like fun. You know what? Why don't we do it now? I've seen every episode.
You know what? I might just show up. I'll definitely show up, but I might just show up like having not watched any other of it, and I'll just fucking fling wild guesses out, and I'll think of the worst possible thing I could think of that's not funny, and I'll probably be right.
That is correct.
That is very true.
Like one of them has a pet pineapple for no reason. Does that sounds like
no, not that. No, too creative.
Don't listen. Don't spoil the episode.
I'm just saying that's too creative. Draw it back, dial it back a little bit.
I got this pineapple from from Germany. My voice just sounds like for some reason Austrian. and it sounds just like a cartoon Arnold. And this is my entire voice and my entire life. This is what I sound like. My name is Rula Board somehow. Hit the fucking mic again. That ruined everything. Start the episode over. Start it over.
All right, hitting delete.
Yeah, delete that, Adam. Steve, can we go back? Send another invite?
Okay, yes. We'll start again and do another hour and a half. Or Sean, you can feel free to plug your show and your various Twitters, however you want people to follow you.
Yeah, you don't want to do this, but you could listen to the In Poor Taste podcast if you really hate yourself. It's the worst podcast ever conceived because there was no conception behind it. There is really nothing there's no redeeming qualities of it. It's a lot of bullshit, some fake commercials where we really insist that they're real. And we have yes-anded ourselves into an alternate universe of complete insanity. And pretty much we're the only ones that listen to it other than the only listener. We have one listener that listens to it. And, we apologize profusely to that person. They're actually cursed and they have to hand off the podcast to the next person. And then that person is doomed to listen to it until they trick somebody else into listening to it. It's really disgusting. So don't listen to In Poor Taste Podcast. Don't follow us at In Poor Taste Pod, and do not go to podsberg.com, which is the worst possible name for a website. We were going to make a network and then we didn't. It's podsburgh.com if you hate yourself. I have to stress that. So don't do that. Do not follow me on my political ranty side of Twitter, and I'm going to prevent you from doing that by not telling you again what the ad is, because I said it earlier in the episode. So go back and listen to this episode again. Give them, but you're going to want to delete it and re-download it so that they get an extra download. But other than that, don't listen to or follow me anywhere. In fact, don't listen to this episode again because I was on it. Sorry, guys, I ruined it. I've ruined your entire podcast. In fact, you're going to probably want to cancel the podcast and delete every episode now. So I apologize for being on.
Not every episode. We have like 2 good ones in there.
It's best to be thorough, Steve. It's best to just go ahead and just erase it.
Just go full scorched earth.
Yeah, you're gonna want to destroy the hard drives as well because the CIA can unearth this.
To be fair, we can just start again, Adam, and just redo all the old content.
Honestly, I would like to do that. I think that would be a good idea.
It's kind of fun. It's like an RPG. When you start an RPG over at level 1, it's got a
New Game Plus.
Yeah, you get the new game vibes, even though you know the game, so you know how to I know which guy to steal the knife from or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel that's a good project to undertake.
You know what? Let's all just delete our podcast and start over, especially listeners, because the only people listening to this are also podcasters. And I know that because every human being on earth has a podcast.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I just wanted to belong.
It was too accessible. There should have been a gatekeeper. There really should have been. This was a bad idea.
There's no regulation.
You'll know that if you listen to the In Poor Taste podcast. The name is fucking prescient. It's just not good.
Podcasting is what an anarchist system is. So if that's what you want, if you want everybody to have a podcast, that's how it goes.
Democracy sounds like a good idea until you listen to podcasts.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, then you start thinking about...
Wait, who gets the rights to that T-shirt? Them or us?
Right?
He said it on our show.
Yeah.
Oh, I will never make a T-shirt. Are you fucking kidding me? I just buy them.
There you go.
Good.
I have way too many, and none of them are ones that I've made. So, I think we could make a T-shirt someday, but we never will because it takes time and effort. And you'll
sure
listen to our podcast, you'll know that time and effort are not our bag.
But if you want to see some of the time and effort I've spent, go to t.pub/lick/HopNationUSA.
Hot/lick.
Yeah, LIC.
That's the only part I heard.
If you also want to find our podcast and, want to listen to our podcast after you do your podcast, then listen to our podcast again, then all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA on any podcatcher, and that'll get you Stitcher, Podbean, Apple, Google. We're on all those. We're on everything.
Yeah, you
all
guys
that.
will be our podcast you should have been listening to instead of listening to this podcast the next time we're not
See?
in an alternate reality where we're being tortured underneath a defunct mall.
Defunct mall. Haunted mall.
Well, prescient, actually. We haven't published the latest episode, but
tease.
wow, we recorded that 24 hours ago, and you somehow knew the plot. So don't listen to that episode.
It's good, right?
Dear listener, avoid that. You just basically did it for you. You heard our episode by him saying haunted mall.
Haunted mall. But if you're on any of those platforms listening, leave us a 5-star review because
We are a 6-star show, but we are only minutes from the mall.
Nice. Century 3.
and that's a worse crime than Lebanon Church Road in Pittsburgh.
Hey, I live right off of Lebanon Church Road. You fucking shut your dirty mouth. That is a great road for shopping. Okay. You want to do some shopping? You go down to Lebanon Church. Okay.
Go down to Duffy's, get yourself some beers, have yourself
We
a
need to
time.
get down to Duffy's here. I don't know who this is. Oh boy. I guess I'm being Saul Rosenberg.
Oh, God.
There's blood in my mucus.
I fell on the stairs and my shoes fell off.
I was hurt very badly.
Oh, emotionally and very physically. My head was bashed apart.
So far off the rails.
So far. And if for some
on this podcast, if you want to stay on there.
and if for some reason you want to follow us on social media, then just search Hop Nation USA. Get Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's all that we're on. I don't do Snapchats. We don't do OnlyFans yet.
What would they see?
I mean, think about it though.
Feet.
Beards. The beards alone.
Beards and feet.
Just the rubbing beards together would be a thing.
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
Could do. You could. I'm saying you could.
Could, but nobody gets to touch my beard but me.
Say, well, nobody on this podcast gets to touch it.
Right.
All right, we're done with this.
Get to see beards and feet.
I've got it, Steve. I've got it right here in my hands. Ooh, edit this together. Come on. Do the After Effects.